Now we will look at managing class details. The most important class detail you will manage is to take attendance. Aspen is set up where the default assumes that students are present. So you go in, you log in, this is your landing page, and when you're ready to do attendance, click on the attendance tab. This teacher has 2 classes, and we're going to go into the first class, and there are only 2 students. I know all of you would love to have a class with 2 students. This was just set up for demonstration purposes. If both students are present, the teacher only needs to click post, and that makes a record of the attendance for the day. If any student is absent, the teacher must indicate that student is absent, and then the teacher will post. And that's all there is to taking attendance. Notice it tells you that the class attendance was posted, and it tells you the date and the time the attendance was posted. So this is the first part of managing class details, which is taking attendance. Moving on, managing the grade book. Now, this teacher only has 2 classes, and one of the first things we want to do is set up our categories. So let us go into the first class, and in this class, the class code is A05, section 001. For many teachers, working with the course code is not comfortable, so you can give the class a nickname. This can be general art, first period. You can name it however you want. I actually like course code, so I'll leave it exactly as it is. Now, because this teacher is an art teacher and all of their sections are the same, they may want to link the classes for assignments and categories. So what we will do is we will select the other section. There's only one other section here. And this allows us to link A05 section 001 and A05 section 002 for assignments and categories. And we can give this a name, and I'll give it a simple name. I'll call it the art class. All right. Notice the average mode is in the gradebook default, and what we did select was category total points, and the averages grade scale is also gradebook default, and what we did select was the high school grade scale. Show notes on portals. Students and parents have a portal that they can see what is going on in the classroom. If you want notes to show on the portal, you just click Show Notes on Portal, and you write what notes you want them to see. A good initial note is welcome to the art class. Other aspects of managing your classes: you can either keep all scores that students earn. This is signified by do not drop scores. You can allow the system to drop the lowest overall score. Some teachers do that, so students know that whatever is their lowest overall score will be dropped. And you can drop lowest score by category. So we may drop the lowest assessment score, or we may drop the lowest participation score. You can't do this until you set up your categories. So let's save this for now, and let's set up our categories. Now, because we have linked these 2 classes, the categories will be the same for both classes. To select our categories, we go over to categories on this side. All right, again, we want to add categories, and we're going to use standard Aspen. Instructions, options, add. So options, add. And our choice of categories are in the pick list. So we want to add, let's add practice and application. and we can add a description. Practice. All right. And then we give it a weight. I believe the weight for practice application in DC is 50%. We want it on the DCPS high school grade scale. Entry mode. If you want to grade using letters, you can use letters only. If you want to grade using numbers, you can use numeric only. Choice of both would allow you to use both letters and numbers. It's very important to know, if you enter letters, the letter is mapped to the highest numeric value associated with that letter. So if a student is given an A, then the system recognizes that score as 100. If the student is given an F, the system recognizes that as 62 or 63, whatever the highest value of F is. So if you go with letters and numbers, please appreciate that the letter will always represent the highest number associated with that letter. If you go numeric only, the system will only accept numbers. You can have extra credit points. You can do that per assignment, so it doesn't have to be added here. Visibility type. Visibility type should always be set at public. There is use for it to be set at private, but I think the easiest approach is to just set it at public. Notice the choices are public, private, and public no grades. Public means people on the external side, parents and students, can see the assignment and the grades assigned. Private means people cannot see the assignment and they cannot see the grades. Public no grades means they can see the assignment, but they will not see the grades until you make them public. Let's save this category. Notice we are also adding this category to the linked class. If we did not want to add it, we would uncheck this box. So that is our first category that we have added. Then we're going to add our other categories. So let us add participation for 10%. You do not have to add a description, and let us set it up as public. It requires a description. All right. I wouldn't think it would, but because you're not free to choose whatever you want. We have a limited number, but that was an experience. Categories. Then we're going to add assessments for 40. And we need to add a description. Let's make it public. Now, if you don't want your scores to be able to be dropped, you can click here and say your assessment scores cannot be dropped. All right. Now, these are the traditional categories of DCPS. The weights are 40 for assessment, 10 for participation, 50 for practice and application. Notice the percentages. However, within practice and application, you may give students up to 10% of the total grade for homework. Sometimes calculation of that is challenging. So what we can do is you can actually add a separate homework category. And you can make, so let's call this homework. And you can make the weight of homework 10. And let's make it public. But now your percentages are off. So how do we fix that? It's quite easy. Homework falls within practice and application. So we go in and we make practice and application 40. And now, if you look at your categories, they again add up to 100, with 40% going towards assessments, 10% going towards homework, 10% for participation, and 40% for practice and application. This is the first step in terms of managing classes.